what we do. Largely, two of the major things they do for us on a daily basis is provide ticket takers and provide workers for our concessions. And that's a large load that's greatly appreciated, to be handled by the boosters, along with raising funds through spotlight ads and the program, and being able to then give back monetarily to the athletic department. So, Amber, I'm going to let you take it for a few minutes.
You going to control? Okay, perfect. All right. Well, thank you all for being here, and welcome to a new year. So, again, I'm Amber Craig, president of the Athletic Boosters. We are an extension of the athletic department. We raise money to fund all of the awards, trophies, patches, letters, letter jackets. All of that comes from us. And we award, we did put minimum of 2 scholarships this year. It's usually been 2, but we're hoping to increase that. And with all of your sponsorships and help and what we bring in, we're able to hopefully increase that and allow more scholarships to our senior athletes. We cover the cost of all the athletic trainers. We do maintain 4 concessions. This is considered the main concession in here. We do soccer, baseball, and then little snack shack, and that's outside of the junior high gym. And then our wonderful band boosters, they do the football concession. So, but we do operate the 2 inside and the 2 outdoor over here. So your help in ticket taking and working concessions is greatly appreciated. We'll get more into that. And we are proud that this last year we were able to donate $15,000 to the athletic department directly for things that we brought in with fundraising. These reasons right here. Concessions, sponsorships, which is well, go to the next slide. We'll talk, because we know what fundraising is too, but sponsorship. We have a table right next to the athletic department where you're getting those passes. You just have to fill out a sponsorship. What level do you want to sponsor? And it's basically giving a donation. We are a 501c, so you can, it is tax deductible donation. It just goes to the athletes. So it can be in any increment. There's no meetings or anything like that for being a sponsor. It is just donating essentially to the athletic boosters, and in turn, we give that money directly to the athletic department for things that they need. If you have a senior, for your senior to be eligible for the scholarship, you do have to be a member or be a sponsor, have a sponsorship in by the end of the year, so December 31st. That is a draw. They just have to fill out a scholarship when it's scholarship time. We put it in this big red wheel that you'll see here in a minute. All of the entries go in there, and it is a draw. So anyone can win as long as the parents are sponsors. So we have a QR code. I will have the QR code on our table too. But one of the other things is, how do we get our ticket takers, concession workers? Our Vice President, Karina Wagner, sets all these up, and then you will have a caller. If you're not familiar and you're new to the athletics, you will get an email from a caller. You click that link. If you want to go ahead and go to the next slide. Thank you. When you click the QR code, it's going to look like this. It's going to take you to all of the links. Where is your child? Well, I have a junior. My son will be a junior. But if what I can do doesn't fit in there, I can click any week. When I click on the week, next slide, please. It's going to look like this. So I can see that on 9/11, I can work soccer tickets or I can work volleyball. So maybe I want to take tickets because I'm going to get to watch the volleyball game at the same time. I will just click on sign up. My name goes right in, and then it will look like the bottom one where you can see that Amy Lester has already signed up on the 12th, and this is where it tells you where the event is. So it's always going to say what gym, especially when we have basketball or volleyball. We've got aux gyms, junior high gyms. We also, sometimes it might say main gate, main gym, but always ask if you have any questions on that. So we really encourage you to sign up, because without your help, we couldn't do it. All of the high school teams, so at some point you may get, if you're a soccer, swimmer, cross country, from a parent or a coach that says, hey, it's our week. Again, we pay those teams to do the concessions. So if it's a big night and they're working inside here at a volleyball or a tournament or something, we will give anywhere from $100 to $200 back to that athletic team, plus the tip jar that they can have out there. So the parents and family, anybody, whoever's working, is not volunteering their time, but know that we're giving back to that team individually for working those concessions, which we, again, appreciate and couldn't do it without you guys. Next one. If you are signing up for ticket takers or concessions and it's not through like a link that says soccer or football or whatever, then you will get a $10 voucher. Vouchers can be used at the concession stand. I know anytime I work, they're usually gone the same day because my son just takes it back and gets $10 worth of things he doesn't need. But it also will pay for a letter jacket. If you save them up, you can turn in a letter jacket's $125, I think, right, Jeremy? 120, 125. So I would give 13 and pay for that letter jacket. So you can also pay for spotlight ads. If you want to go to the next one. Spotlight ads, an email came out yesterday. That is the colored program book that is going to come out. We do it fall, winter, and spring. I know it is quick. It does say by the 8th of August. We can float that till Monday. Just communicate with us if you're wanting to put a spotlight ad in. We've got papers out here that you can fill out, and then you can honestly just email us the pictures that you're wanting to put in there, and we would be happy to design that page for you and that highlight. You can do quarter, half, or full page. Full page is just for seniors, but the others can be anybody 9 through 12. And that's a great way to highlight your athlete or a member in the colored books. So if you have some vouchers as well, that can go towards your payment of the spotlight ad. If you want to pay for the whole season and you're crafty and can do your own ad, you can switch your pictures, like if you want to do fall season, winter season. Again, just communicate that in the email with us so we can get you taken care of and make sure we get that switched on you appropriately. And this is just some openings. How can you help? Besides ticket takers, if you're interested in being a caller or a closer, the caller is the person that actually sends out those emails. Hey, it's junior week. Here's your link. Help where you can. The closer is on that same week will be the one to close the concession stand. So there's no, they just can come after hours. You can go in whenever after the events are over and close down the concession. We wipe down, make sure everything's good to go for the next day. Some weeks there's 2 events, some there's 4, some there's none. So it just kind of all depends because it's all random. But if anybody is interested, anybody that holds one of these positions within our boosters does get a free family sports pass. And we have opened this down to 6th grade. So if you have any 6th graders, welcome. We want to, we want you to be able to kind of be ready so when you get to that high school level. So you will see 6th grade on there now, and we've given them a week so they can, they are part of junior high. We've just never had a caller and a closer for that grade yet. So we do have a caller, I believe, for 6th grade actually. We got that tonight. So, but if anybody's interested in helping, just come see us at the table. We'd be happy to tell you more about it. I think I'm done. I think that's it. That was fast, but I tried to stick within the time frame. Yes, real quick. Soccer concessions, we actually pay an individual to work every event, and it can be 2 people because we know that kind of gets a lot. But the person actually it's kind of like a snack shack. You just open it yourself, so you make the popcorn, make the hot dogs, work the concession, and close it too. But so sometimes it runs about 2.5 to 3 hours on a night. But that is, if somebody's interested in picking that up, we do pay that person. So it's like a time card, or if anybody's interested in coming aboard in that sense, we are looking for somebody for soccer and baseball. You can do both. You don't have to do both. Even if you think you might be able to do half of the soccer events, but if you'd be interested in, like I said, opening, working it, closing it, it runs about 2.5 to 3 hours. We'd love to talk to you, tell you how much that is, and because off the top I have to check. But yeah, so that is something we're looking for too, and that's going to start here in just a couple weeks. And we train, you just get a key, you open, close. It's pretty in and out, but we would love that help as well. All right, now I'm done. Thank you, sir. Do you want me to go get your red thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
If it's. All right. So again, any help you can be to the boosters throughout the time, grades 6 through 12, as you're a parent going through, they could really use the help, and it's greatly appreciated for us to be able to have the host all the events that we have. So as we get started here, most of you, I guess, unless maybe 6th grade, would know me at this point, but I'm Jeremy Dexter. I'm the athletic director here for grades 6 through 12. I surprises me to say sometimes going into year 9, start to feel old, but going into year 9 here, and we have Justin Pelly helps us. He's a football coach and junior high guidance counselor, helps us with some junior high things. He'll run the junior high awards nights, does some daily things for us, but also is a full-time junior high guidance counselor. So has that keeping him busy a fair amount. And some of you out there have seen Ashley, who's our new administrative assistant in the athletic office. When you call, when you go in, she's going to be the one answering the phones or greeting you, and you see her around a lot, and would do a lot for us. So it's kind of that 3-person crew. But junior high wise, some things Coach Pelly would do as well, like the awards nights seasonally and things like that. You'll see him. But these are some of the things that we always put on this, but had great success last year as we go into next year. Kind of a common theme. I like to put these up here just because as you're either a parent coming in or you're going through the process, I think there's 2 things that really stand out. And don't have to say a lot here, but if you could tell them, kind of from a communication perspective, what the best approach is and how you will communicate with them. And with them again, just being our sports provider is going to take on, initial, something would happen here. And as a parent, you have every right from a coverage perspective to go where you would want to go. But when it comes to kind of reintegrating back into, let's say you've been out or you have concussion protocol, things like that, where you have to come back into it, then you're doing that, through Sarah and through the coordination with your primary physician. But we're fortunate to have her and to have a team doctor that on every Monday, Dan Kraft is in here on Mondays doing injury checks for athletes that need it and that are under care. This year, this feels like this has been a long time in the making at this point, but this year is the official start of the Monon Athletic Conference, or the MAC. And those are the schools. It's the Montgomery County schools, Frankfort and us. Those are the 5 coming from the Sagamore. And then Cascade, Greencastle, and North Putnam joining us. We prioritize our rivalries with Lebanon and Tri-West, natural rivalries and closeness that we have. We play Lebanon and everything still. They're just not conference games, but we have redone the schedules where we still will play them and everything. We play Tri-West and pretty much everything unless they don't have it, like golf, and they just added tennis, so we're getting them added, but we play them. Danville's been one that, will kind of be hit and miss on whether we play them. They're just more of an out-of-conference team now. We'll play them some in some sports, and we won't in others, depending on how it fits and how the coaches view it when we set the schedules and when I sit down with them. But it is a priority to still play, those two schools close to us. But what this offers us is a great opportunity in every sport to go into a season and as an athlete and a coach to feel like we can compete for conference championships, at the 8th grade and junior and high school levels. So looking forward to it and excited to be a part of it. This is a group you'll see a lot, the Athletic Ambassadors. It's in its 7th year. It's a group that we basically look at as the face of our athletic program. They have to be nominated by a coach and a teacher. They have to go through a vetting process. They have to go through an application process to be chosen. It's gotten pretty competitive over the years, but it's a group that when you go to a high school athletic event, like a varsity event, you're going to hear one of them say the sportsmanship statement before the athletic event. They're the ones that are going to 3rd grade classrooms at Wells and Thorntown and teaching 6 different character lessons on things like respect and accountability and trying to connect with those kids. They're the group we're taking to the IHSA Student Leadership Conference. If we host state tournaments, they're the ones that are going to be the team hosts. They're going to wear their shirts. They're going to be assigned to a team. They're going to work athletic events, and they get paid to do it, but they have first rights on things like running clocks, doing announcing, things like that. And when we have multi-sport athletes, it's hard to carry a full-time job or to carry a job outside of, with your work schedule. So we're able to allow them to sign up for games that they can do and make some money that way and try to support them that way. But it's a group that we're proud of and does a lot for us, and something I would think as a student athlete, I would hope you'd strive to want to be a part of someday. It's for juniors and seniors, so rising juniors at the end of their sophomore year apply. This is our strength and conditioning program. It goes on in the summer as well. We have usually 20 or 21 sessions that's ran by Nate Burke and is supplemented as well by Justin Pelly and many of our other coaches. I pay our coaches outside of Nate and Justin. I pay them a stipend for every event that they or every workout that they're a part of, and that brings their athletes into the fold and allows them to connect more, and it's continued to grow. But again, something that as you get into the high school years, you want to be a part of, and it's a great experience. We talk about multi-sport athletes. Junior high, we'll have a chance to get numerals this year. You have to participate in 4 seasons in grades 6 through 8 to receive numerals heading out of your junior high career to then put on a jacket someday when you get a varsity letter in high school. But it's 4 seasons is how you would look at it between grades 6 and 8. We'll set you up to see that more. But our athletes talk about how there's better traction with that. I think you can see the lines better, and we like it. You'll see in the top right, one thing that's intriguing to people's, we now have 2 golf simulator bays for our golf programs. It's pretty neat. It's up pretty much right above us, opposite the wrestling room. But, when our golf programs, when it would be cold or rain, they didn't have much they could do. Maybe they could go hit in the baseball batting cages, but, they were competing with baseball and softball to do that. So these are full simulators that really are like the real deal. You can do driving ranges. There's a putting green up there for putting. So, prioritizing, we pride ourselves on prioritizing all sports here, across the board. When you're looking there, you're looking at tennis, wrestling, and golf with some of the largest facility upgrades for the year as well. So you'll see different jerseys and uniforms as well as we go along. But a lot going on. One thing I always want to mention is extremely important, and I think is worth the time is, the Senate bill for AEDs. AEDs are, by law, they need to be located at every facility that athletes are participating in. They need to be in close proximity. Need to be able to be, retrieved in a short period of time. So we have AEDs in our concession building at soccer, at baseball and softball, and at the turf, football, tennis concession, that building outside. Our golf and cross country teams carry mobile AEDs with them because they're not in a building. We can't rely on the golf course to have them, so our coaches have mobile AEDs. Sarah, our trainer, has a mobile AED. Pointed to her. She's ducked out, it looks like, but not there. But she has one as well. There is also 3 in the building. There's one, if that door was open right now, you'd be able to see it in the cafeteria right outside the main gym. There's one outside the wrestling, I always say right, one outside the weight room. And then there's one in the second floor upstairs on the west wall. So we have them in a lot of places and our close proximity. This year, prioritizing that all of our coaches, our head coaches, the first couple days of practice, one of those days they're going to take 5 or 10 minutes. They're going to take their entire team. They're going to go directly to where the AED is in and around their facility. They're going to show them how to access it and where they can get to it if something was to happen and that was needed. So just know that, from a parent perspective, that's prioritized and should be in close proximity. Corporate sponsorship, large part of what we do as well on being able to do some of those upgrades, purchase uniforms, purchase balls for every season, right? So you look at like this season, I've purchased, soccer balls for the soccer program, 8 cases of tennis balls. You purchase golf balls for the golf program. You purchase basketballs every year for basketball, and then they kind of just pass them down. Those are things that, yes, it's, athletic department is self-funded. So it's the support of the Booster Club, and it's ticket sales, and it's corporate sponsorships. So when you go in the main gym, we've put a lot of effort into this sponsorship program, and if you would know or you own a business, somebody who would want to be a part of it, we've started a 4th row. So let it rip. We can use all the support. Yeah, you can contact the athletic office, but that ends up being that the corporate sponsorship logo goes parking. There is a parking lot at the tennis courts, between the tennis courts and that retention pond before you get to 32. That will be for access parking. By all means, you can still tailgate and sit out there and do all of that. But from a parking on grass perspective, we're not doing that. So that is on the right is the new parking lot that is out by the tennis courts. But it alters some things there, but you're free to do it in the parking lot. But we need to park on concrete, asphalt parking this year and moving forward. We want to pull since that's such great news, let's give something away. Let me read it. Okay, so yeah, we'll just do one right now, and then if for any time, if you've already purchased one, then you would get with Ashley and get it reimbursed. I'm gonna go with the whole number right now. I don't know what it's, but 236-9355. 236-9355. There we have winner. Okay, that's good. So. Again, if you would win and need a reimbursed, then we can do that. Okay, another thing we really pride ourselves on is community engagement as far as identifying and pushing out what our athletes are accomplishing and doing. So I really believe that if you would go to a bunch of other, and you're not going to do this, like, I mean, you don't need to, but if you were to go to a bunch of other websites of schools, and I'm not into naming them and shaming them or whatever, but you're not going to find schools that will post individual articles about every event that occurs, grades 6 through 12, within 24 hours of that event happening. We want to prioritize the time and effort that our coaches, our student athletes, and our parents are putting in to this. So our coaches are charged with the responsibility of needing to get a summary of some kind into us by 8 a.m. the day after an event. And I can ask them to do this because when I was a varsity coach, I had to do this. So I can ask them to do it. And they turn it into us, and then we post it on WeBoAthletics.com. Lots of times we'll enlist parents to send us pictures. I have Coach Pelly kind of lead the charge on this. You know, he was once an English teacher. So hopefully he can spell things right when he does it and everything. But it goes pretty well. And when we post it, it posts to our athletic department Facebook page, and it posts to X, Twitter. And then, you know, we have an Instagram account as well, but it's not linked up to that. So it doesn't always get all of those things. But that's something that's done every day. And then you have the Instagram account as well. And then from a Final Forms perspective, that's how you're getting information from me, from the athletic department. My primary mode, and really large mode, only mode unless we're dealing individually, is info section is a athletics team store. It will be open 365 days a year. Okay, so there will be no need to come into the athletic office or hit just the fall one, or if we do a spring one. It is open online 365 days a year. What's always been hard about a athletic department our size is to just carry a bunch of inventory. It costs a lot to carry a bunch of inventory and just have a store that you could walk into. So we have the online store that's open 365, WeBoAthletics.com, under the other info tab. It will update at different points throughout the year. Just check it. But when you get to holiday season, you needed stuff. The great thing about this, some of the other stores we've done, it's been maybe 4 to 6 weeks to get stuff. This ships, it ships directly to your house, which there is a shipping cost for it. But it will get to you, order it, it's going to get to you within a week. They say 5 days. That scares me, but I mean, they say you will have it within a week. So we'll see how that goes. But you know, it's through Kratz, who we use for a lot of things. But we will still have championship stores at different points throughout the year. Sports will have individual team stores. This is just something that it's going to only have WB stuff on it. It's not going to be sports specific. And there will be some things that have the MAC logo on it in red and blue, if you would want just something different. So the large MAC logo will be on some things as well. But there'll be QR codes at different points throughout in our office and all around, but open all the time. Final Forms registration. This is our athlete registration. We've been doing it a long time now. Works pretty well, very well. Final Forms tab is on the left side of WeBoAthletics.com to register for athletics. When you do this, you'll log into Final Forms each year. And usually around like April, I'll start sending out information about how to roll over to register for the next year. You have to do it every year. You'll go in, you'll log into your account, you'll manage your sports for the next year, and then you're on those rosters for coaches to be able to send you information year to year. But when you first do it, you make an account, sign in, put your student information in, manage the sports. At first it'll look red. Then once you sign all the forms, you know, like I've been saying it for, I I'm in year 9. I got finally have the parent aspect of this now. On the bottom here we have I have a 7th grader that will be here. So I made a Final Forms account for my wife so that it wasn't the staff one where she go in there and accidentally delete a bunch for a second of I hadn't thought about that in a while, but when we had to sit kids out and sit them home, then they would need a couple practices to return. But if you would miss 2 weeks in a row, then it would be 3 practices. The only odd thing that you got to think when you're doing the math on that, and our trainer will keep it because it's probably concussion protocol or something like that, Sundays don't count. So when you're doing the math, that's why, like, we get into spring break, our coaches need to practice on Fridays. Because if they don't practice on Fridays, that Friday before spring break, then they'd be out Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It's 9. And then take the Sunday away, and you're at 8, and you're in that window. So they need to practice that Friday. Otherwise, their entire teams have to have a couple days. As I talked about, the other info tab, you'll find a lot of stuff there. I'm not going to go through every one of them, but it's a great resource for you. Travel consent. Went to this 5 or 6 years ago, got away from paper. It's worked out really well. I will tell you, I had coaches meeting last night. I always tell our coaches will set the rules on travel for their teams. Okay, and we'll support it. So, if they want to say that their team's traveling to the event together and back to the event together, we'll support that. If they want to say you're traveling together there, but your parent can sign you out and bring you home or take you home, we'll support that. In the parent meeting, it's their job to identify to you what the rules are. Most, definitely at the junior high level, it makes a lot of sense sometimes, for them to go home. Some varsity teams, conference games, things like that, they'll have some rules in place that they're going to, win or lose as a team going and coming together. But they'll set that. And then if you have a sport that can leave, then there's a travel consent form in the other info tab of WeBoAthletics.com. It's a Google form. It populates like that. You put your name in it, your date, what sport the athlete's participating in. You submit it, and our head coaches have access to a Google sheet. It automatically populates live. And then they can, once they see that, then they'll let you go. So please just do that. Cover everybody from a liability perspective, and we're being safe. But that's a great tool that's worked really well. And Ashley every day will go into that Google sheet, and she deletes it all from the previous night, so the coaches aren't scrolling through the whole sheet. So I say that to say, if a coach allows you to do it, don't go in and put every date for the year, because it's going to get deleted. So just do it. You're doing it the day of. If you put them all in, then it's going to get deleted, because these coaches are going to have to scroll through hundreds of entries. Okay, give me a ticket. We're starting to fall asleep here. Got to read the room. Got to be able to read the room. Days I'm not going to be able to read these. Close. 236 9326 9326. Guess she sees the hand. I don't. So that's good. Okay. All right. It's good info, though. It's a great PowerPoint. Stick with me. We got it. All sports passes being sold out there. They've been online for sale since the spring. You will go to there's one note that's when you're on WeBoAthletics.com and you look on the blue, it says tickets and passes. Go there for tickets, like online ticketing. If you want to do online ticketing, don't go there for passes. Passes are on the registrations tab where we keep like camps and all of that. And you go to the passes, find which pass you want to pay for, pay for it, goes right into us, ashling right out the passes. You will get an email. People will get sometimes an email from EventLink that will have, you might have a pass that gets sent. That pass that's just a thing that EventLink does. We're not using that pass. There are places that have gone to that, but this community likes hard plastic passes. So that's what we still do. We still pay for them, and we still write everybody's name with a Sharpie on them. And lots of schools don't do that. But again, that's what we like, and that's what we'll do. We still like cash around here too, so we still have both options as well, and that's totally fine. But if you get a pass emailed to you, you're not using that one. You're getting the pass from us that you can have with you. Okay, home events at the gate are cash only. We will often have a QR code there that can go to the ticket spot where you can buy them online if you wanted to. We do have a lot of schools that are cash only, so we have a lot of parents that come from, like, I don't know how North Montgomery does it, but North Montgomery's cash only. I would think they'd maybe be similar to us, where a lot of people want to use cash and they wouldn't have real good cell signal, but it seems to work out there. But they'll come here and they're not used to bringing cash, so then they're going to need to use that QR code that's on our ticket taking table. So they'll use that and they can still get in that way. There are a lot of schools, like I said, that have gone to it, so you'll want to check. You'll get into the habit of kind of learning which schools use EventLink. North Montgomery is the only school in the state of Indiana that uses GoFan ticketing. So you have to have a GoFan account just for them. But most people are EventLink, a large amount. We'll see that high school wise, the conference, you're going to see this at every conference, and it doesn't hurt you guys nearly as bad here because of the all sports passes and that not changing, but the conference at a high school varsity athletic event is $7 across the MAC conference. And if you were to go, to some of the schools, in the Indy area, it's going up to $8 or more. The IHSAA state tournament's going up $1. So that's kind of what's happening from an inflation perspective, that's going up. Our junior high we're keeping at $5, but joining the MAC, everybody's doing that, and when you go there, that's what it'll be as well. So I already talked about away ticketing to other places. Just check their websites, and you'll get in the habit of knowing what each place does. I've already talked about going to tickets. If you wanted to buy tickets, you could. A lot of you have done that before, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on that. But there is a spot to buy online tickets if you want to do it on our website. I told you that we'll communicate through Final Forms. I have the text feature in crunch time when you need information quickly. But Final Forms, and then check Facebook at Western Boone Athletic Department, and then at Twitter and Instagram. I would really recommend getting an EventLink account. We put a lot of time in the athletic office to scheduling our facilities, to scheduling things into our facilities and having it updated. Like if let's say like again, now that I have seventh grader, I don't want Melissa, I don't want my wife to have, she logs into my staff EventLink thing and deletes an athletic event. That could be a problem. So I had to make a parent EventLink for her. But by doing that, I'm able to click on the sports that my son's going to play. And when I do that, then it only populates those schedules and those practice schedules. And then I could I can export that to her phone. And then she's automatically got every practice and every game in her iPhone. You could do it with the Android phone as well. and it will update live. Like it's a subscription basically to it. So if I change something in there, you don't have to change it. It's going to change. But it's very nice if you have an EventLink account, community account. You say it asks you the school, Western Boone, and you click. If you have a soccer player and a basketball player and a track runner, click those 3 sports. We keep updated on practice schedules and things like that, and you're going to be able to export that. It's a very neat feature. I would recommend it, and you're going to need it for ticketing anyway at other places that don't take cash. After school placement, we always talk about this. We have practices that start at 4:15 due to lay coaches. We have trips that leave at 3:45, 4:15, all of that. So those athletes we need to house. Coaches are going to have them, if they're staying after in the cafeteria, or with them in a classroom, their classroom. But that's kind of where they need to be, not running all over the building. And then game day food, the school cafeteria will open after school, so they're able to access and purchase some things there. We tell our coaches we don't have food coming in for entire teams on game day. Basically as a parent, you're just responsible for your kid, your athlete, and you could bring food into them, but just provide food to them. And I know it sounds like maybe somewhat common sense, but we have a small fridge in the athletic office, so we keep drinks in for officials and stuff. Ashley's really not interested in taking Subway sandwiches throughout the day and keeping them with Post-it notes on them and pass them out after school. We're not. So if you could not bring your food in and ask us to deliver it to them, that'd be helpful. But just after school, have them come out to you, or however you're going to go about that. But you'd be surprised over the years the requests that have come in. But just food wise, kind of your student athlete is the focus there. A student athlete needs to be to school by 11 a.m. every day to be able to practice or participate in the contest that night. 11 a.m. Is the day. It used to be 10:45. It's 11 a.m. due to having homeroom every day now. Made it 11 a.m. So just kind of trigger that. And that's 11 a.m. on Cammie Sparks's whatever device she's using that day. So if my device said 10:59 and yours said 10:59 and Cammie said 11:01, I don't get to argue with Cammie. So it's just keep that in mind. If you have things that different trips and things that are excused, then just bring that documentation in and you're fine. I always talk about, anybody know the rule on, I get this question a lot, does Friday impact Saturday? Anybody know? No. So Friday's attendance at school does not impact Saturday's participation. It could. I'm telling you, if I was coaching, it would. If I miss, they missed a game plan piece or something, they don't know what they're doing. But as far as the school goes, in the athletic department, that's a coach's decision in regards to Friday. It does not impact Saturday. Okay, it's always something I want to emphasize the bottom, academically. It says student athlete first. We take it real serious. We have the Team Pride Award plaque out where, teams, trying to push for 3.2 or higher GPAs. 3.75 or higher will get you when you get in high school, get you academic all conference. We want to put things in place to prioritize that. One specific hardline rule is that you have to be passing 5 classes to participate in athletics. So that is a high school IHSA rule that we carry down to the junior high. So just keep that in mind. If you're enrolled in just 6 and you have a study hall, you got to pass 5 out of those 6. But 5 is the magic number. And we don't have a midterm checks on that or anything. It's just the grading periods. So at the end of the first 9 weeks, if you haven't passed 5 classes, you're not going to be eligible the whole second 9 weeks. Right? There's not a checkpoint there. All right, and then at the semester, it's the semester grades that are counted, not the second 9 weeks. And then the third 9 weeks is counted, and then the second semester grade is counted. So just keep all that in mind. Tryout wise, again, it's a place I think you can count on being able to participate in most things that you want to participate in. There are big numbers. There are teams that have had to cut before at different points. And if there are tryouts that involve any kind of cutting of rosters, student athletes are guaranteed 2 tryouts before that would occur. And then, of course, a coach needs to communicate correctly to parents and athletes on that process. And that'll be a part of parent meetings that they'll have as well. But two tryouts at minimum. I talk about social media a lot to our athletes, talk to our ambassadors talk to our total group about it. But, social media now, it's in all of our lives. There's all kinds of AI things and things you don't even know whether it's true or not. You open something up, you can't tell. What we always just talk to our athletes about is, don't say anything out there that you wouldn't say to somebody in person. And obviously, not only that, but you're representing Western Boone, you're representing your family, you're representing your coach, you're representing your teammates. So if you could help drive that home, that, just to not vent on social media, about things, and, to not get in maybe arguments with, I don't know, an athlete at another school, that sort of thing, and just live right on social media. We appreciate that. Discipline-wise, if there are any discipline issues in the student handbook, it goes through first offense, second offense, and third offense, what that looks like. First offense is a 30% regular season suspension, and that's different for every sport, obviously, on the number of contests then, but it's 30% for every sport. So let's say you have 10 events. Let's keep it simple. We can all do the math on that. 10 events, 30%, be out 3 matches, 3 games. We have a caveat in there that if you were to work for the athletic department, volunteer 8 hours to maybe work clock, things like that, you can get that reduced to 20%. But hopefully none of you are dealing with that at any point, but it is in the handbook. And the handbook is on Final Forms. It's one of the things that you electronically sign as well if you need to access it. Conflicting events, it's going to happen as a multi-sport athlete, also being involved in band, choir, vocational stuff, NFHS, AMP, all kinds of things that athletes are doing. Those conflicts, in our student athletic handbook, basically you as a parent and your student athlete, choose what you want to go to if there's a conflict. And you would communicate with the parties involved. Obviously, if it's grade related, don't choose athletics if it's grade related, if there's a grade involved. But if it's a conflict where you want to choose one or the other, just communicate with the sponsor and the coach and all of that. And coaches are fully aware of that. Transitioning to the next sport, just want to always emphasize you can't here at Western Boone, and you can some places, but you can't compete in 2 sports at one time here. So you're only competing in one, and then you have to finish one before you start the next. So if you have a team that's advancing far into the state tournament, if the coach doesn't release them, then they need to finish that to be in good standing. Now, you will have coaches that will release freshmen or JV to go ahead and start practicing and all of that. At the junior high level, we used to run into this a lot more when our boys basketball schedule overlapped past Christmas, and then swimming and wrestling had started. So we would have a conflict there. So that's really one of the things that we handled with this the most. But finish what you start is the best way to look at it. And I'll mention in the handbook as well that at the junior high level, we allow 6th grade participation in sports that don't have grade specific teams. So that's every sport except, volleyball has grade specific and basketball has grade specific, like they have 6th, 7th, and 8th grade teams. The other ones are junior high teams. So 6th grade participates, but keeping a caveat that 6th grade is always kind of the supplemental grade. If there is a large number of 7th and 8th graders that are already there, there could be a situation where either 6th graders aren't included or 6th graders have minimal participation. 6th grade is kind of a supplemental grade transition year when it comes to those sports. More times than not, we need 6th graders to sometimes field teams and all of that, but there are times where there's a large number, big classes, bubble classes, and that's the case. There may be some situations where it's limited. Keep in mind from a communication perspective, I'm really big on accountability and taking some sort of ownership and trying to teach, communication skills, especially in this age of technology where we don't have to necessarily talk individually to one another. But having having a student athlete attempt to talk to a coach themselves about any issues that they would want to talk to them is a major step. If they can overcome that hurdle, you may not be making their dentist appointments when they're 25. Like, they could do it themselves. It's amazing how that works. So, I used to be just so appreciative when kids would do that on their own and not have their parents do it first. Obviously, then sometimes you as a parent need to step in and you would communicate with the coach first, with the student athlete hopefully involved, because I think it's important for the student athlete to see and understand what's going on and see both sides of it and see what they're hearing at home versus what they're being told by the coach as well. And then from there, if you get past that and still have some concerns, then that's where communication to me would step in. But unless it's safety related, if you call me, one of the first questions I'm going to ask you is, have you talked to the coach? If it's safety related, revolving your child, that's different. But go through that process first and go through those channels, and that's a very respected process, and all of your voices should be heard, and you as a parent you should be listened to and heard and have the opportunity to voice your opinion. But just go through it the right way, and then I'm telling you, from the top down, it's just much smoother and helps in the long run. I skipped it, but kind of important for you to know. We did really good sportsmanship wise. You go to events, and we did good last year when it comes to things like ejections or anything like that. Heckling officials. I don't know how many of us would actually want to be an official in here, but not many. But we cannot have the athletic events without them. Like, I literally would have to cancel it. Like, we wouldn't have it. Your kids wouldn't participate in anything. And you just got to keep that in mind at some point. Some point when it gets heated, you got to be able to take a step back and keep that in mind. Remembering that as you go along, yeah, you're going to have some moments there. But if you would get in a point where you would get ejected, and you may or may not agree with that ejection, but I've never known anybody to get ejected that didn't do anything at all. Like that, I've never known that to happen. Like, if I stand still and don't do anything and don't speak, I'm not going to get ejected. Like, it's amazing how that happens, So when somebody calls me and is like, I didn't deserve that. I'm like, I didn't eject you. Like, I don't get to decide whether you deserve that or not. But that guy or gal thought that you deserved it. And, you got to keep that in mind. So when you hand that off to them, you're opening yourself up for that. So if you're ejected, long story short, it's automatic 2-game suspension as a parent. It could be worse and could go longer based off of the situation. But that's that's IHSA rule a couple years ago. We carry it down to junior high, but it's automatic 2 games. So just keep that in mind. We did great with it last year. Uniform-wise, one of our biggest hurdles sometimes is collection of uniforms. Do the best you can to work with your coaches at the end of the year to get those uniforms in. One thing people have it's hard to think of, but like Adidas, Nike, Under Armour, like, they want to make money. So what do? They change the uniform every 2 years. So if we have a uniform that's 2 or 3 years old and I don't get it back, I can't replace it with the exact same uniform. And then we start looking ragtag, and none of us like that. I'm a little too OCD for that. So then I got to buy like a whole new uniform because I can't. So we don't want to do that. And we have not very often, but we'll contact if we need to. But participation into the next sport and a monetary fee to replace the jersey, even though we might not be able to replace the exact one, could be a part of it. But just help us with that and work with coaches, because I know it's just one slide and I've been talking a while, but like it's one thing, and Ashley doesn't really know it yet, but fun times sometimes when trying to collect them. So just help us with that. And I promise we're like almost done. It's like 2 slides left. Letter jackets. Amber talked about it. They're $125. If you get to that point, you can get a letter jacket by lettering in one sport. So you letter, varsity letter. You can come in the athletic office, get sized with Ashley. We got sizes back there. Kids can come down, get sized, order it, and then $125 to the boosters to order that. And if your athlete would have any interest at some point in being college bound, or if you don't even know, this is something that, being that Justin Pelley's kind of our liaison into the guidance office, if you have interest in being college bound someday, or just to put that on the radar, reach out to him at some point in the guidance office, and he'll kind of walk you through the different processes for that. There's some things that need to be in place, early in a high school career. It kind of helps from SAT, ACT scores and getting those and everything. So if it's just something that's on your radar, you think it could be possible, then contact him. I'll leave it at that, and he'll kind of walk you through it. You can take a picture of this if you want. Again, it'll be on the website when we post the link. But these are our varsity head coaches. And one thing, again, as a former varsity coach, I wanted to run my program, and I give that to our varsity coaches, that same ownership where they run it, like they're hiring their coaches, they're recommending those names to us. They're working with the financials of their junior high programs. They're doing all of those things top to bottom, working their youth programs and everything. So it's a good contact to have, even if in junior high, if you need to know, when the last year was, amazing, the integration of the boys and girls soccer league, the in-house soccer league we had. So if you'd ever have any interest in, then Stephanie Kennedy can give you information on that, for example. Boys basketball, fall league, volley digs for volleyball, list goes on and on. Okay, and that's some of the social media sites that they have. So that's the end of the presentation, okay? I appreciate your patience with us. We only do this once. There are schools that do it like seasonally. Could sit through 3 of them. That might hurt our multi-sport participation if I did that. So I try to only do it once, But it's a lot of information, but a lot of those slides are in the student handbook, all right? But we really do, we're here to pull the rope the same way. Like, you can't get anywhere if you're not pulling the rope the same way together. We put the time and effort in because we want to see your student athletes have a great experience. It's important to us in that regard, and we try to put out a good product. So if you need anything from us in the athletic office, you can contact us, let us know. And I want to pass out 2 more. We have 2 still, right? We'll do 2 more passes, and then after that, I'll read the last number, and we can bolt out of here. I think there is one more slide in there. That's important. If you did not scan a QR code on the wall, try to scan that, see if it works. If not, there's a QR code on the wall. You want credit for showing up, okay? You want credit for sitting and listening to me and being a good audience. So it's just a Google form real quick to submit. All right, we have 236 9368. 9368. Do you see it? There it is. Okay. All right, making sure, yeah, we have everything we need. So Ashley will be back out there with passes afterwards if you want to take the time now to just go ahead and